Hey everyone. So, I recently watched a podcast episode on an app called Podbean. So, just to look at the episode that I'm about to talk about in this video, you can just get the app Podbean, download it. It's free to download, free to use. And you can find the episode that I'm going to cover on a podcast called Open Debate, which is where the episode I'm going to talk about and my opinion on it originates from. So, the episode on the Open Debate podcast on Podbean was called Can Religion Cure the Loneliness Epidemic? So, for context, if you guys don't know what the loneliness epidemic was and is, it was an epidemic that emerged in mid to late 2024 in Northern America. And it was the reality that loneliness had been crippling the American society for quite some time in the past couple of years, since it was mid to late 2024 when it surfaced, and it's been prevalent ever since then. So the podcast was about two sides of a debate discussing whether or not religion could be the cure or a cure to the epidemic that is the loneliness epidemic. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about my side on it. As I said before, the app is called Podbean. You can find the episode on Open Debate Podcast. There's a search bar option in the app, so you can just search it. And you'll find it there. So, I'm going to be covering some of the opinions on either side. So I'm going to be calling it Side A and Side B. Side A being the side that thinks, yes, religion can be the cure to the loneliness epidemic. And Side B being, no, it isn't, or cannot be. So I'm going to be covering some of the opinions I found in that episode and just my take on it, my opinion on it. Because you'll notice that the channel name, and my channel has been changed from Malcolm Maker's Vids to Malcolm A_philosophy and more. And why is because I've recently followed philosophy channels and philosophy podcasts that have really interested me, and I definitely feel like this is the more of the content I want to do, in addition to the music and gaming videos that I also do. So philosophy will actually be the main focus of my content from now on, because I feel like those videos can definitely cater to a lot of my subscribers if they're in fact interested in philosophy as I am. So one of the opinions, I'll start with the opinion of no, it cannot be the cure to the loneliness epidemic. One of the opinions I found is that, in this lady's opinion, I won't be talking about the names, because not only can I not remember, but also I will not just do that because that's out of respect and courtesy. So I'm trying to be as courteous as possible with this video. So the lady's opinion she was on the side of no, religion cannot be a cure to the loneliness epidemic. Her opinion was that religion is something that what one of her ideas was that religion is something that is involuntary, meaning that anyone that follows any form of it is doing so unwillingly. And this caught my attention for a number of reasons. First of all, I was confused as to what she meant as the degree of involuntarity that was associated with religion. So I was confused as to the context that she was referring to, whether she was referring to all religions, like as an umbrella definition, or just one particular religion. So that was one of her points, as to, she was saying religion is something that's involuntary, as in it's something that no one can willingly agree to or subscribe to any religion voluntarily, which interested me not only in the fact that I heavily disagree with it, but also to the fact that it just doesn't really make sense. I can see in some cases, yes, it could be considered involuntarily, especially if you're someone especially if you have someone that isn't overtly and heavily religious, like, for example, an agnostic person or an atheist. So I can see why in some cases it could be involuntary for them to become a theist or a religious person rather than whatever they were subscribing to in belief before. So no, I do not believe that in every case religion is involuntary. I believe in most cases it's voluntary, in my opinion. So because religion is faith, and I do not believe in my heart of hearts, in my opinion, that religion can be involuntary when you're talking about faith. So basically what I'm saying I don't believe, in my opinion, that faith is involuntary. Because it isn't. Because faith isn't something that you decide, like, by your own admission. It's something that it's something that feels natural because it's faith, so it's whatever is specific to you. Because it's different for every person, of course. Even if they're from the same religion, their faith is different because it will have different layers and reasons as to why they're faithful in the first place, or unfaithful to something in the first place. So there's layers to it, and that's why I believe faith is usually voluntary for the most part, from what I know. So, of course, if I get anything wrong or anything doesn't sit right with anyone watching, then that's perfectly alright, because this is my opinion. I'm not taking attacks at this debate that I was talking about. That I am talking about, sorry. So this isn't to take any specific side or to say that anyone is in the wrong for thinking what they think, because no. None of you are in the wrong for believing what you believe. Anyways, so her take on the fact that religion is involuntary did not sit well with me, in my opinion. Because, for one, she didn't give much evidence to support her claim, other than the fact that she said that religion is something that comes about when someone is in a dire, like, sense of unsolicited non-belief. To make it make sense, I know that was confusing, but what I mean is she considered religion as to be something that was like a last resort for a person, and that they had pretty much no other insights as to the world and the inner workings of life and the inner workings of existence and why we're here. So that was her main point for that particular opinion, for that particular stance on it. So another thing I don't agree with, besides the faith thing, is I also don't believe that you can necessarily say something is involuntary without requesting elaboration from a particular person you're referring to. So what I'm saying is that she would have to talk to someone within a religion and discuss their personal experience and personal beliefs regarding whatever they're subscribing to. So her opinion is not only sort of controversial, depending on where you stand on this, but is also, I don't want to say derogatory, but is kind of leaning into more of a materialistic sense than a philosophical sense, because materialism, by definition, is believing that we're all made of atoms and stuff is all material and scientific. Scientific is drawn more to scientific than philosophical and philosophical logic driven opinion. So I believe that her opinion was a little bit more toward materialism, which is fine. Like I said before, I'm not taking any shots at anyone's beliefs or thoughts. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to explain my take on it, and this is my personal opinion. Anyways, so yes, her take is, in my opinion, more on materialism side rather than philosophical and logistical sides. So another one of her opinions is that a person can't have this particular faith without having prior cause or reason, which also doesn't make sense. She's essentially implying, is what I think she's implying, is that there had to have been an event before this that drove a person to believe what they believe in, which is not necessarily true. What I believe for anyone's personal belief regarding philosophy and faith is that there doesn't have to be a prior occurrence in order to push someone toward being faithful toward one thing rather than another. Because it's never 50-50. Like, it's, especially considering like religion as opposed to atheism. It's never 50-50. It's never cut clean equally. So what I'm saying is that there's not necessarily an occurrence that happens prior to a belief to be the catalyst for that belief. I've never really been a philosophical person prior to just the past few weeks, but I've gotten more into it because I've subscribed to some philosophy channels that I do believe many people also have subscribed to. And this is something that definitely does fascinate me now, but it never did before. Maybe like in late 2025 is when I start getting really interested in it, and now in early 2026 I'm a lot more invested in it, which is why I changed basically the main focus of my channel and my content. That's also why the schedule will change, and I will put a post in the next few days after I set up like a complete schedule, because it has changed from my gaming and music channel. Definitely more, mainly the majority of content will be philosophical, which is why I'm going to label this as philosophy part 1 rather than philosophy and like that's it. No, it's going to be mainly philosophy content. And if anyone does not like the kind of content I make, here's the thing. This is what I'm going to choose to do with my channel. Because with the surge in popularity of my channel going from 48 subscribers to, I believe now 53, I know that's not that much of a jump, that's a 5 subscriber jump, I believe. But it is 5 subscriber jump, what am I saying? But I feel like this can get my channel a lot more attention and popularity than before, because there's a lot of people that are on the philosophical side of things when it comes to social content. Anyways, so her take on it didn't sit well with me because of those reasons, but also the other opinion from the other person that was on the B side of the debate, being the no, religion cannot be the cure for the loneliness epidemic. The other person's idea is that there isn't a possibility for it to be, because there's so many other things that they can do in a community sense that can stifle or fight off that loneliness. He was just bringing up other examples like community service and jobs and other social interactions, like visiting a public place, going outside, seeing people. He's talking about other reasons that are more, if not equally, or if not more prevalent than religion in terms of community and sort of staving off that loneliness. And this is another thing that I don't completely agree to, but I also see why it has weight. Why this opinion in particular has weight. How I think of it is that basically this debate was less of, can religion be the reason, like the cure for the loneliness epidemic? It's rather, can religion be a cure for it? And I definitely think it can, because religion is more than just faith. It's also unity. It can bring people together. It can build community. It's been building communities for centuries. So I definitely believe that it is in this umbrella of community options. Because the term of cure for a loneliness epidemic, it's an umbrella of options. What I mean is that there's multiple things that you could do and things that you could have, social interactions that you can take part in, or communities that you can join. And religion is definitely in that upper echelon of options. Because it's varied. Like, there's so much variety and so many things you can do that can counteract that loneliness. Now, for the A side, being the side that believes, yes, it can be a cure for loneliness epidemic, one of their claims was that your faith as a theist or religious person correlates with your daily life and correlates with your social interactions and determines and correlates with how lonely or not lonely you may be. And I definitely agree with this because I'm on the side of yes, it can be. So I'm on the A side that I labeled as yes, it can be a cure. So I definitely do agree with this because your religion and your beliefs in your faith definitely correlates with your actions that may or not make you less lonely or more lonely than you were before. Especially if you like convert or change to being religious to not being religious, or not being religious to being a religious person that has faith towards something. So I do think it can be a cure because in logic, and mainly philosophical logic, in my opinion, from what I've learned about it, and like looking at other channels and other people's opinions on YouTube and also other media, is that philosophical logic is less about the ground and sort of universal opinions and more about experience and social and philosophical understanding. What I mean is that it's more about experience than hypotheses or theories. Lost the word there for a moment. So this is part 1. This is number 1 of the philosophy videos. So that's my take on it. I know you guys, once this is out and once you guys are learning about this, I know you guys will probably be wishing, oh, I wish he talked about more. Wish he covered some other things. But that's why I'm going to make many philosophy videos from this point on. So there will be others coming out, but this is the first one, the first of many philosophy videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course comment. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed.